Good evening, y'all. And this video is more on, now we're going on 12 weeks and we have had our real property horse farm taken by John Miller and Bradford County Telegraph Incorporated and their attorney Charles Daniel Sykes Esquire on the basis of a perjurious squatter complaint. And that is as shown in one of my prior videos with numerous purchase documents existed showing we were authorized to be on the property and were purchasing the property. Now, when real property is taken from somebody, there has to either be a pre-deprivation judicial hearing or an immediate post-deprivation hearing, according to this squatter statute they have in the state of Florida. Well, it's been 12 weeks now, and we have gotten no judicial hearing whatsoever. See my prior video on Circuit Judge Honorable George Wright, and that was at around 10 weeks we had not gotten any hearing. Well, we still have not gotten any hearing. So, if this is going to become the law in the state of Florida, if I was anybody trying to buy property in the state of Florida, I wouldn't walk away. I'd run. I wouldn't buy a piece of real property in the state of Florida no matter what. If I knew that I could have the real property taken from me and not get any judicial hearing whatsoever. A real black eye for the state of Florida. Oh, but it gets better now, because now, and we are still investigating this, but we have a source who says that the barbershop landlord that my husband's barbershop rents from has laundry machines in the Magnolia Hotel owned by John Miller. So the next thing you know, the landlord at the barbershop shuts off the power to the barbershop. And then, well, man, squatter complaints in this deep southern town of Stark, Florida, they're just willy-nilly flying around, and any property seller, any landlord of a tenant is now going to try to squatter people off, because guess what? It's cheaper and faster, and they make a lot more money. Well, they're destroying their property purchaser or tenant's life financially. So now one squatter situation has led to a proliferation. So after this landlord, the name of the business that owns this place, according to Morgan and Morgan's lawsuit against this place, is Scott's Laundry, DBA, Allen's Attic Storage. And the owner of that is Scott Prinz. So on July 10th, at 6:45 in the morning, as my husband was opening the shop, Mr. Prinz arrived with a 4-sheriff squad and told them we lied, made false statements to the sheriff. He isn't arrested yet. Why hasn't the sheriff arrested him for false statements to the sheriff? Who knows? Who knows? But autistic people are never protected, not by courts, not by law enforcement, not by anybody. If I was neurotypical, I'd get protection, but no. So Mr. Prinz tries to lie to the sheriffs that he called here at 6:45 a.m. and told them we have 10 to 12 dogs living in a storage unit. So apparently the barbershop that Mr. Prinz rented to my husband David as a barbershop, as a shop space, he's calling it a storage unit. And there's 4 dogs. He already knew that because he told us to keep the 4 dogs quiet. Well, he had his new insurance agent here looking at the property. So he knew there were only 4 dogs and that they're autism service dogs. So let's get a little more into what happened. Because when he called these sheriffs, My husband showed him all the text messages between himself and Mr. Prinz, and it was really clear. Mr. Prinz gave him the key, asked how the barbershop was going after the first month, and he has one where he paid Mr. Prinz around $660 rent, and then Mr. Prinz failed to disclose that the shop floods, so my husband had to pay $2,000 repair and deduct to dig a ditch to make the flood go away from the barbershop space because it would render the barbershop untenable. Because I'm a breast cancer survivor and I have autism, and the first thing this guy did is he cut off the power. He took self-help, and he did not want to live by the agreement he had made. No actual rent was owing because there was set-off, and so he shut off the power and took self-help. And then when he called the sheriffs to try to squatterize us off David's barbershop business, because, of course, John Miller, Bradford County Telegraph, Inc. and Sykes have an interest and a motivation, certainly, to get David's income shut down. And this Prinz guy had laundry machines, so our source said, in the Magnolia Hotel owned by John Miller. So there's opportunity for Miller to lean on Prinz. And the next thing you know, Prinz cuts off the power. So in Florida, you cannot cut off the power. That's self-help. So when he called the sheriff and the sheriff read through all the texts, he told Mr. Prinz that this is a shop and this is a tenancy situation and he's not walking us off, and that Mr. Prinz had to put the power back on immediately. Well, Mr. Prinz has defied the sheriff. So he lied to the sheriff that he was going to put the power back on. And so now what's going on? Well, Mr. Prinz has filed an eviction lawsuit against not only my husband, but me too. And he is saying it's not contested, which that's a lie. He knew it was heavily contested, especially since he cut off the power and since no actual rent is owing. And he sues himself owning this place here as Scott Prinz. What is the place here? Well, the place is, this is its address, 527 South Water Street, Stark, Florida. But over here we have a complaint signed by Nelson F. Sierra, Esquire of Morgan and Morgan. He's suing not Scott Prinz only, but Scott's Laundry Inc., DBA, Allen's Attic Self-Storage, and Scott Prinz. This is the case number in the 8th Judicial Circuit, because he's saying that Scott's Laundry Inc., DBA, Allen's Attic Self-Storage is the owner in possession and control of the property at 527 South Water Street. So why would Mr. Prinz bring a commercial eviction lawsuit against my husband and also against me to evict from a barber shop at that address when he knows that his corporation, Scott's Laundry Inc., DBA, Allen's Attic Self-Storage, is the owner, is the landlord of the barbershop? Well, here's an easy question. This is a small southern town, and we know all about the Deep South. And here in the Deep South, in this small town, Mr. Prinz doesn't want to have to hire a lawyer and pay a lawyer to represent his corporation. So what he did is he lied to the county court. And he did not join the owner, who Morgan and Morgan is telling a circuit judge at the very same time is the owner of the barbershop. How do you like that? Scott Prinz playing loose and free, telling opposite things to the circuit court and county court in Stark, Florida, the 8th Judicial Circuit of Florida, Bradford County. So Morgan and Morgan alleged basically that every single unit, all the units on this property where the barbershop is, are storage spaces. subject to a Florida statute governing storage spaces. Well, if every unit on this property is a storage unit, then what kind of fraud did Scott's Laundry Inc., DBA, Allen's Attic Self-Storage, and Scott Prinz of Gainesville, Florida, pull on David Petrano, my husband, and hence also on myself? Because if you Google in and use AI and you start researching and investigating this property, you find out that there are storage units here. They're all numbered, but there are also 2 shop spaces here, commercial shop spaces, A and C. In A, there's a dog grooming business that's been here a long time. Scott's Laundry Inc., DBA, Allen's Attic Self-Storage, and Scott Prinz rented this barber shop to my husband, David Petrano, and promised a 10-year written lease. Well, Mr. Prinz never followed through on that. He cut the power off, and it looks like he's either going out of his way to help John Miller in Bradford County Telegraph, Inc. try to cut off our income so that we can't enforce our purchase agreements on the horse farm, or Mr. Prinz, he's got insurance. Apparently his first insurer dropped him after Morgan & Morgan sued him. It's a premises liability suit. But I don't know why Morgan & Morgan is alleging they're all storage units when 2 of them are clearly shops. And these are shops. They have regular glass windows facing the outside, regular doors, smoke detectors, lots of lights, electrical wiring. They've got molding on the walls, you know, like you put in a house, a bathroom. So it doesn't look like a storage unit. So did Morgan & Morgan, not investigate their case? Or did Mr. Prinz just go along with Morgan & Morgan's mischaracterization, Mr. Prinz and his first insurer's attorney? What did he tell his second insurer, the new insurer? Did he tell them that these are all storage spaces? Because it's a higher liability risk for a shop than it is for a storage space. We don't know, but every time Mr. Prinz turns around, he's saying another lie. And so this is part of the fallout of our not getting a hearing after being walked off our horse farm for more than 12 weeks. Because this is the fallout. These are the damages that's occurring because of that. And as far as Mr. Prinz, he's got a lot of questions he needs to answer all on his own. And I'm an adult with autism. So as an autistic adult, this being my lived experience of how the neurotypical world treats autistic people and autism families, I'm going to say how it is, because there's a lot of parents out there who are going to pass away and leave their autistic child on their own without parents. Y'all need to know what happens to us, because this just isn't right. Nobody protects autistic people. We don't get court hearings. We don't get emergency relief. The wrong parties sue. They lie to courts. They can even have 2 lawsuits that are saying opposite things to 2 different judges at the same time. And that's how it is in this deep southern town in Stark, Florida, and the 8th Judicial Circuit of Florida, the division that's sitting in Bradford County. And that's my video for tonight. And thank you for watching.